I had to spitball all the different ways that you're letting energy leak from you, thus making you a victim, making you depleted, making you feel burnt out. This is kind of what I would first assess within you. I'd be like, what is her dialogue? What is she saying to herself all day long? What is she saying yes to that actually she should have been saying no to, but she's a people pleaser, so therefore she is just living in resentment and bitterness, and her free hours are spent deliberating about why someone acted the way they did when really you're the one that said yes to something you didn't want to do. That's one. 3, stuck between a decision. When you're stuck between a decision and you're back and forth, you're in purgatory. And purgatory, you know what that does? That is just leaking. You're just spilling everywhere. You're just, all that sparkle is just sprinkling in the streets. And before you know it, you're shedding dust. We don't want dust. This is an area of sparkle. That's what Goddess Hour is all about. Sparkle, magic. Get out of the in-between. Make any choice. I don't even care if it's wrong. We want you listening to your intuition, but make any choice, because whatever happens, your intuition is then going to come back to you and tell you what you should have done, and then you just course correct. But in purgatory, you're like stale white bread with cold butter that doesn't spread. Do you want to live like that? Actually, I'm just kind of throwing this in there at the last minute, but not knowing who you are sheds a lot of energy, a lot of magic, because what happens is you start making decisions without having a filter for why you're making the decisions. You're not buttoned up, you're not zoned in. And so the best way, the thing that I did to get back that, to reclaim that magic, is I started, you guys, I was like the biggest people pleaser of all time because my career depended on it. Because my career depended on me making sure everyone that I worked with was happy, thriving, that everything was essentially perfect and that no one was ever upset at any given time. I brought that into my personal life, and then I'm people pleasing. Before I know it, I'm living a life of untruth. I'm living everybody else's life. And the way I was able to claw out of that bit by bit was by having an evening wind down. And that seems obscure. Why would you have an evening wind down? I'm going to tell you, because when you are you've built a life around yourself where you are now just fully committed to plans. You have these friends you don't even know. Your whole life depends on this ecosystem that you brought upon yourself. So the thing is that you need to pull yourself out with one small thing so that you can start to reclaim that sense of sovereignty. Mine began with the candlelight wind down because I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was like, oh my God, I am so confused at all times. But then I came to my candlelight wind down. I'm writing in my journal. I'm meditating. Everything's peaceful and quiet. Maybe if it's a meeting with yourself where you guys assess, is this working for me? Is this life working for me? And your higher self is like, bitch, no, that's what I've been trying to say, but you're just so freaking busy all the time that you can't hear me.